Good morning, viewers. Good morning, wherever you are across the continent of Africa. Good morning, wherever you are across the continent of Africa. Are we having? Are we having? What's going on?
Yeah. Good morning, Doc. Maybe you mute your device.
Okay, let's go again. Good morning, viewers. Thank you very much for watching Punchline Africa Television, broadcasting all the way from the Political African Command Center headquarters. Thank you. Thank you very much, Miriam, across in Kenya, Nairobi, in the general headquarters of Punchline Africa TV. Good morning.
Very good morning to you, Doc, and a very good morning to our viewers.
Thank you very much, Miriam. Thank you also, my beloved friend, son of soil, all the way from Nakuru. Good morning, Kiptanui Savania.
A very good morning to you, Dr. David. Very good morning, good afternoon, good evening to our viewers. I'm actually joining you live from Nakuru. Thank you for having me this morning.
Thank you very much, viewers, and all of you across the globe that are watching us or will take this clip. Today we are going to be short, precise, to the point. We are going to be honest and tell you what we think, the faults, the misses, the hits, and several other issues that IEBC. I've looked at the documents that IEBC, Miriam, this is a mockery of justice. This is a mockery of patriotism. This is a mockery of, I can't call it anything. You see, the IEBC was paid money and is paid money to create a conducive, transparent, open election, not opaque election. What the IEBC has done has created an opaque election. The documents that they have brought to court are opaque. There is nothing new. They have brought everything because they have nothing to tell the Kenyans anymore. They have already resigned to a point that this petition will be overturned because there were so many anomalies. Sorry, election is not a one-day exercise. Election is a process. The IEBC opaquely processed, equipped, supplied logistically the people of Kenya with fake election. This is not an election, Miriam. This is not an election. This was just an exercise to collect money, to waste $55 billion of Kenya shillings and go home, enjoy, because it's the last. Remember, I met with Chebukati in a hotel somewhere in Kenya. We sat down in Nairobi. I asked Chebukati what is the problem. And Chebukati answered me and said, he has a problem with some people. He told me the names of the people he had problems with. I have that tape well organized and I've provided it. I will provide it publicly once the court finishes. He said he's not going to be intimidated. He is going to announce and go home and leave it. That is exactly, I am telling you, this was last year when we bumped into a hotel. We sat I called him. I said, what is the problem? Because he speaks the same dialect, like my dialect. Miriam, I tell you what he told me, this guy is very, very bad guy. He stuck to it. He said he will announce. He gave me 4 names that he said they are intimidating him. Now, this, if you look at the papers that were filed, there is nothing that explains why the mathematics, simple mathematics, failed. Why the simple mathematics failed to work. So, as Kenyans, you expect you have lost more money. And there is nothing you can do. The courts might actually just tell us, let's smile and go home. It is therefore very sad that Miriam, as we speak here at Tanui, we have lost money. There was no election here. You can imagine the chairman says, all what in this document. That's why the returning officers and the provisional officers of IEBC came to meet Haji, the DPP, to tell him in Mount Kenya we were intimidated to write what people wanted. And if you don't write, they kill you. It's a very serious indictment on behalf of Chebukati. Why did Chebukati choose to do what he did? The misses, the hits. I just want Miriam to ask all of us on the panel, each of us to say, what does he like about these elections? Then I come back and do summarize. Miriam, you read the words in the order. Let's begin. Then I'll also say my words. Let everybody say his words. Begin with the words, the faults, the misses, and so in that order. Thank you very much. Javani Karanja, welcome to the show. I hope you are set up right now with Her Majesty's Queen. I can see the Queen's flag on your shirt, and I have my shirt for Punchline Africa TV today. What are the medium? Let's go in order. Quietly.
Yes, the failures.
Yes.
We start with the failures. And then yes.
Ask Tanui, maybe. Tanui, what are the failures?
Thank you, Dr. David. We have been seeing actually what is happening with IEBC and this general election of 2022. IEBC has first of all failed Kenyans to tell us exact place where they are printing these ballot papers. 2, to tell us where are these polling stations which were created and we are not aware. 3, to tell us.
Let's go slowly so that the medium know, each person, medium will write. Medium, I forgot my pen, but write.
We had forgotten that point there. We've not here. The new polling stations and IEBC did not disclose where they were.
Go ahead.
Are you okay now?
Yes. Yeah. I think I'm the only one who has no pen, but Miriam will write for us and remind us. Yeah, start again.
Thank you. I said one of the failures is that IEBC have not told us where are these polling stations, and these polling stations were not gazetted. Two, where are the origins of these ballot papers? They came from where? Which airport up to this country? Three, which company actually won this tender? And is these companies which won these tenders to print these ballot papers, were they bankrupt or they were in a position to print these ballot papers? Oh, Miriam, IEBC has also not given us the real reasons why the elections was born in Mombasa and Kakamega, and why not even in Nakuru County. Miriam, another thing is that why are the origins? Why is it that IEBC have not even disclosed these constituencies which we have been told? Wafula Chebukati actually announced this presidential election without even completing the tallying of these constituencies. Finally, Miriam, why is it that Chebukati issued certificate to president-elect and left the deputy president-elect? Thank you. I submit.
Very well. Thank you so much. Javan, what are some of the failures so far from the preparation of the elections to the election day to now where we are today that you've picked?
Yeah, thank you very much, Miriam. And as it happened in 2017, there are failures that we have seen repeat themselves in 2022 general election. One is the failure of the Kim's kit. Like where I went to vote in my polling station, the Kim's kit failed for like 2 hours, and we started the process of voting at around 8 a.m. Therefore, that is a failure on the side of the IEBC, because they need to have boosted their Kims, they need to have tested their machines to ensure that they're in good working condition.
Hold on, I need to understand. So you did not start voting as per the time that people are supposed to start voting because the machines had failed. But IEBC had said there was an alternative way of identifying you. So was that available for you and for the voters?
I think that is, yeah, from where I voted, that was just a word that was not put into practical use, because after the machine failed, they had to wait until the Kim's kit is boosted. And yesterday I watched Jubilee Secretary General Jeremiah Kioni saying that was a plan by IEBC, pre-voting Mount Kenya region. What they did, they were erasing and updating some figures that were not reflecting on what is happening on the polling station. That is why they had to take 1 or 2 hours pretending that the machine has gone down so that they can do what they were supposed to do with that machine in favor of some candidates. Number two, Miriam, they said that there was the use of manual register to identify voters. I think that didn't materialize where I was voting, because what they did, if your name was not reflecting on the Kim's kit, they took your picture and sent directly to the IEBC tallying headquarters in Nairobi. So I don't understand why they failed to have a physical register in a polling station, but they left it in Nairobi. So there was a lot of confusion, and I really don't understand why, as a country, we could not allow the IEBC to use manual register and Kim's kit concurrently without this issue of having to send your pictures, to wait for 2 hours and so on. And also, there is the failure of time, because Miriam, when you are supposed to start voting at 6 a.m., then you start at 8 a.m. I think that is something that in future IEBC should be keen on, because they need to prepare adequately for this election. Also, there was the issue of mixing of ballot papers, as it happened in Nakuru and in Mombasa, something that has not happened in 2013 and 2017. Therefore, this time round, I don't understand why the same Wafula Chebukati, who performed exemplary well in 2017 in terms of distributing ballot papers, had an issue with Mombasa and Kakamega this time round. And I think this was a well-orchestrated plan to deny Raila Amolo Odinga some few votes in Mombasa and in Kakamega. Because when you look at the numbers of elected votes and how they have performed, you will see that Kakamega and Mombasa are strongholds of Raila Amolo Odinga. I think those are some of the issues that we see brought issue in this election, and those the issue of the network, the 3G and the 4G issue. And I think it's high time the government that will come to ensure that the country is 4G and 5G if possible, so that we can have easy transmission of these results moving forward in the next general elections. And I think, Miriam, the main problem with our electoral system that need to be addressed is the issue of civic education. We have seen a number of spoiled ballot papers. This number has been rising. 100,000 ballot papers getting spoiled is something that should concern all of us. This shows there are Kenyans who just go to this ballot paper. They don't know how to mark these papers, and they make some big mistake. There are some Kenyans who they mix ballot papers. They cast in different boxes. I think we need a thorough civic education on the importance of voting and voting in the right way. Thank you.
And just to add to a point there that you have said on you were late in identifying yourself and there was no alternative, and for those whose photos and IDs were taken, do you know that we don't have the final tally of these people who were identified in this ways? It's not captured in the final tally by the IEBC. Just a thought there. I think we've seen those figures. They are playing out. All right, Doc. We go to the next point, and that is the fault. Is it more or less the same thing, or they're different?
They're different.
Okay.
Can I register my failures? Failure number one is Chebukati to disclose the total amount of papers, ballot papers in the country. Record it. It is very unique. We don't know how many papers were in the country, how they came in, who brought them. Failure by Chebukati to refuse to give what we call cargo manifest. Cargo manifest. The cargo manifest of all the ballot papers that were brought from outside would tell us whether Chebukati printed more or less. So if Chebukati does not produce that cargo manifest in court, this election will be nullified. I hope the Orengo team will ask Mr. Chebukati to display the cargo manifest of all the pallets. The cargo manifest includes packaging, because they gave them a packaging list. Miriam, remember, it is that packaging list where we have gone wrong. Why we have Mombasa by pro. Mombasa was knocked out and Kakamega not by just a simple mistake. It's a design of international operators who wanted to disenfranchise Raila Amolo Odinga's vote. That's it. So one question that the lawyers should ask, can Wafula Chebukati, with all the knowledge, the information, the ability, the staff, the money that he was given, where is the cargo manifest? Close it there. That's the failure of disclosing to the public, to the world. You take the commissioners to the plane to see dead bodies coming in a coffin, but you don't give them the numbers of the names of the dead bodies included inside the coffin. Miriam, what do you say? Are you going to bury the right person?
You have to identify.
Let's go to the second one.
The faults.
You said the second, the faults. Is it faults or failure?
We are done with the failures, the faults now.
Yes. And you will see by the end of the finishing all this, you will see all of them are very different. Does anybody on the panel know what the fault is? What is a fault in English language? Wafula faulted everybody in this country. As an institution, the IEBC was faulted everybody, including the other stakeholders, the parties, the judiciary, the security, the DPP. All these are stakeholders in an election. He faulted them and said, I'm sorry. I am not attending any of that meeting. And hold it there, Miriam. Hold it there. Hold it there. Hold it there. I'm going back again. Hold it there. Why? Why? Only one party, one stakeholder wrote a letter threatening Mr. Wafula Chebukati to withdraw from the team that was going to make this election credible. Why? Medium, have you noted that one? Have you seen there is a difference between failure and a fault? He faulted people. He faulted everybody. He faulted even the government. He faulted even the president. Because the Minister of State for Security is the president is appointed. The Chief Justice is an institution that is going to look at Chebukati's documents. But he knew if this is brought to the knowledge of all the stakeholders seated, they will ask, excuse me, what about this? What about that? What about that? So he faulted, he wrote a letter after sitting in a meeting for the first day. He went back to consult William Samoei Ruto and the group. I'm telling you frankly, for free, and Matanga does not lie, for free. I thank some of the papers that write headlines, they should also pay me, because I write for them headlines in this country. Look at that. Yesterday they wrote a headline, which I had already explained during the time. Look, a crisis, a legal constitutional crisis looms. Mr. Wafula Chebukati faulted everybody in this country, offended everybody, because he had committed a crime. In this thread of failure, fault, I am looking for criminal, Miriam, can you complete it? Culpability. Criminal culpability. Criminal culpability. A criminal started gymnastics, started where is the cargo manifest that indicates did the ballots come, yes or no? We wanted 62 million ballots. Can we go back? It's simple mathematics. Medium, simple mathematics. 62 million ballots. Papers were printed. Can we go to the warehouse now, which the government has already sealed this morning? No entry, no departure. If you are found inside, you stay there. How many papers came in the country? How many have been used? Because they are in ballots. They are in ballot boxes, isn't it? It's very easy for people to count them, isn't it? balance according to the invoice, how many were printed, which are in the country. Am I bringing something strange? Are you seeing something funny? Yeah, just balance. Balance. If you subtract the ones in the box and I subtract the ones in the store, we expect IEBC not to operate like a kiosk. It has store managers, clerical managers, stationary managers, go down, warehouse managers who keep these things, and they keep a record. Can we go and find out? Now that Kenya has voted, finished voting, intercepted the document, the papers that are in this place, which the government has done this morning. Round up all the warehouses, no entry of any unauthorized person except the government. Because this is the property of the government of the Republic of Kenya, of which you took the money. There you are. I don't think there's anybody who will find a fault bigger than that. Let's move on. Tanui, do you have your fault? Tanui, do you have your fault? Or you have, you can just say peace.
Dr. David, I actually support whatever you've said, that it was by design that Chebukati refused actually to sit down with other stakeholders in planning for this. And you see, I am not worried, or I'm not scared by what you say, that it is only one party or one wing of the coalition that advised Chebukati not to go there. And this is the same wing that has been supporting Wafula Chebukati and IEBC and saying that even if you put the brother to the Asimio candidate as IEBC chairman, will still win. And what we said earlier before we went for this election is, where was this confidence that these people, where did these people draw all this confidence by supporting it? And if I was Wafula, you see, when you see other one coalition is supporting you, you must get worried because you are not the chairman of one coalition, of one part of the country. You are the chairman of a commission, which is actually supposed to be credible. So out of those faults, Dr. David, this might actually lead to cancellations of these elections, and this might lead to Chebukati being changed. And it is. We've been shouting, and I came to realize that many people, they don't understand whatever we are speaking here, because when you tell people of Kako manifest, where are the origins of this, and you see, we forgot another failure, Miriam. You see, before general elections in this country, we had some Venezuelans, they were arrested carrying the alleged IEBC stickers, and up to date we have never known where they are. Were they deported?
It's not alleged. They're actually confirmed to be IEBC stickers, the electoral material.
Thank you for that correction. Now, how is it that you give somebody to bring these things as a luggage? So it is now coming to my mind that this was a deliberate scheme to rig these elections. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the sorry, perhaps the clandestine way even the election materials were being handled, and case in point what you've just mentioned there. Thank you so much, Javan.
Thank you very much, Miriam, for that. And I think as a country, we need to get serious with the electoral system. We cannot be going around letting people who commit electoral crimes walk scot-free, continue enjoying the money that they embezzle from public coffers, and pretend as if nothing is happening. Wafula Chebukati was almost taking this country to a very awkward state. as we were in 2017. Therefore, I think moving forward, anybody who will be found culpable of committing electoral crimes, they should not be spared. They need to be in a committee serving their jail term, because it is not good, because we invest a lot in this election. We do a lot of money is used, and we expect that this election will give us credibility. If the officials of IEBC did meet that constitutional threshold, there is nothing more we can do except to let them go and do other duties and serve the nation in other capacities. But if they'll be found culpable, they need to go to jail so that we can have some deterrent measures put in place. The reason why Wafula Chebukati committed electoral irregularities in 2017, and we allowed him in 2022 as Kenyans to come and conduct this 2022 general election, shows that as people of this country, as Kenyans, we have slept on our job. As Kenyans, we are not serious with the electoral system. That is why Wafula Chebukati is taking us for a ride, because we have shown that we are not serious. We don't take elections as a matter of seriousness. And I think this time round, if the petition in the Supreme Court will find Wafula Chebukati culpable of committing electoral crimes, then he should go to jail. He has no business being on IEBC, him and his commissioners.
Okay, we seem to have suffered a bit of a technical hitch there from Jevan Karanja's side, and hopefully he's able to. All right, when he's able to come back again, he will continue with that.
Yes.
Go ahead.
We need to have some deterrent measures, Miriam, so that in future we avoid having similar occurrences happening in our country. Because unless we have seriousness and we take the matter of election serious, that is when our commissioners will get serious. On the same issues, our politicians should making sure when they go to an election, they have a referee who has the best reputation and who shows no signs of biasness. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And that takes us to the third point, that is the misses. Doc.
Thank you very much. The misses are many, and all of you will score very many in this one category of misses. Wafula, the first thing Wafula Chebukati missed, and as Karanja has said, we are tracing the line of criminality. Wafula Chebukati missed figures. Mathematics became very difficult for a chairman, and Kenya should, in future, when you are selecting a chairman of the Electoral Commission, it has taught us a lesson that we should elect people who have passed mathematics with a distinction at A levels or at O levels. Because it looks like there was nobody in this whole exercise of the IEBC who got the right figures. All the commissioners, each of them came with a figure. And the four commissioners came out with a figure which was different from what Wafula Chebukati. And Wafula Chebukati, in his papers yesterday, submitted the same, insisting that Ruto was ahead with about 1 point, small point, which he had to add to bring to the correct, to make it 10. So he missed figures. Figures were missing. That's a miss. He never got a target. Another thing that Wafula Chebukati missed was this display of the results in the portal. It could take like 30 minutes before the next result drops on the portal. If the system was efficient, if the system was not being controlled by another country, where either it is in Canada or it is in America where people were sleeping, that there was another back office, a dark a dark horse, a drone computer, which Wafra had, which was opaque, as dark as the color opaque, that nobody knew what that computer was doing. Because if the systems are flowing from one system to the other, medium, you see the computer coming from here to this one. What is the problem? Unless that system is traveling that way, and it has got too many waves on it, before it comes back, you notice it used to take about 30 minutes. Almost 25 minutes before another result drops on the portal. He missed that. He didn't tell us that there was another back office computer which was not in this country. Believe me or not, on Monday or Tuesday, it is going to appear that there was another backup computer which the DCI intercepted, together with other computers that the people who saw that smartmatics equipment missed the target of a good election. Thank you. They were controlling the computer from Washington or in America. The computers were not here. The computers were not in bombers. Because you can say after 2 days, the results kept on coming. You see? It means the other place, you can't wake people up to say, hey, get people on duty and be there to download this. We want this in Kenya. It is Kenya now, we are awake, we are eating nyama choma in Sagret. What are you doing there in America? You are sleeping. Medium, that's the tragedy. That is the miss.
Okay, keep it away. Some of the misses that you picked from this election.
Miriam, as Dr. David actually has put of that opinion. You see, it is true. In 2017, there was another question, Miriam, that was asked about the opening of servers. And Paul Muite, senior counsel, Paul Muite said, people, servers are in France and people are still asleep. So I can see maybe we are also going to meet the same question. At the Supreme Court. And also repeating US have not woken up. So it is actually bad. Wafula Chebukati, he has been running this show alone. Might have actually missed to tell us about these people who are actually caught. Especially there is an IT expert from the other coalition who are actually running up and down in commerce. So he has not told us was he actually the same what was he doing? Maybe the same computer which was intercepted there had a lot of forms which are different from whatever we were being told over there, Miriam. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Jevan?
Yeah, thank you very much, Miriam, for that. A good question. And one of the greatest misses from Wafula Chebukati is failing to meet the constitutional threshold of his mandate, and that is to deliver credible, verifiable, transparent, and free and fair election. Instead of giving us transparent election, he gave us an opaque election. Therefore, he gave us an opposite of what was expected of him. To me, that is the greatest miss, because when you go to any job, there is the job description. And if you fail to meet the job description, then you are not equal to the task. Therefore, Wafula Chebukati, by him failing to deliver what was expected of him, then that is the greatest failure of it all. Because if he delivered very viable credibility and transparent election, we could not be going to Supreme Court. We could not be spending money going to the Supreme Court. We could be having a president being sworn in office in a week time. Therefore, I think that is a big problem, because we have a country that looks confused, Miriam. When you talk to business people, the business is not as vibrant as it was prior to elections, because people still have fear of unknown, of what might happen from this petition. And Miriam, there are a lot of speculations from this election. There will be a lot of disagreement in the future. Our politicians will not see eye to eye because of Wafula Chebukati. And that will hamper how we do development, how we achieve our services, and development of this country at large. Therefore, the failure of Wafula Chebukati, failing to meet the constitutional threshold of what was expected from his office, and engaging in corrupt deeds, and taking this country for a ride, I think that is the greatest failure of it all. And in this high time, Miriam, those people who commit such crime not to go unpunished. Thank you.
Very well, thank you. Jevan Karanja there from Nanyuki. Doc, our last point, and that is on the hits. What perhaps did IEBC do or improved on this year's election?
Miriam, believe me or not, I can summarize one. They had very good uniform and the badges.
They did have the same to the last elections, Doug.
Yeah, they had a good show. It was a showbiz.
The choir does not work for IEBC, Captain.
No, I am coming. I'm coming.
The choir.
IEBC, the IEBC of Kenya did a very good PR exercise, public relations exercise. Very beautiful girls welcoming us at hotels, even to some extent extending other extra services. Yes. Officials, especially the lady in communication, very, very lovable, called Jerry from Embu. Very laughable. I found her with the chairman of another country whom I don't want to make in one of the hotels in very deep conversation. Very nice uniforms, Miriam. Well-organized badges. Tea, everything was available. The only lovely thing that they hit was the choir. A very lovely choir with a gentleman, I think Wesonga, is it Wesonga or Wasonga? That man is called who? The who?
I don't know. I wasn't keen on his name. I was just waiting for the results.
Wesonga.
Yes, Wesonga, who has sung so many good songs during Moi's time. That choir, the IEBC, was very, very efficient. It was target on. It was a target, a hit. If it was not the choir, hell, Satan was jumping in the middle. Because everybody who sat in the bombers looked like...
Do you mean Oledama?
Yes.
He's not.
That choir reduced. You saw the ODM people when they came and heard what had happened. The choir cooled them and they started also dancing a bit. Had it not been the choir, there was Gomorrah going to take place. In that building would have been burnt down. And had Baba arrived in that building, there would be no bombers anymore. And I would like to tell Kenyans from today, if you want a peaceful country, don't go to bombers for your elections. Change the venue of the office. Please, we have bad luck in that place.
But also KICC was terrible, and the reason why they moved it from KICC to Bomas is because of its accessibility. From Bomas, the security is able to control the crowd. Anybody who's not supposed to be there is able to be controlled. But the KICC is a bit of a challenge, and the fact that where it is situated in the middle of the CBD. So Bomas, yeah, but a lot of things have happened in Bomas. So yeah, I can understand what you're saying.
So Miriam, thank you very much. Even if you change it to where, you can change to a building.
But Doc, Bomas is not the problem now.
No, it is. It has become a bad luck place.
It's a crime.
When it's a crime scene, when this election is nullified next week,
yeah,
when we hear the results, Bomas becomes a crime scene. So therefore, for me, I advise that Kenyans change the venue of the Bomas. That was the only thing that they did very well. Decorations, the choir, the beautiful women, tall, height, nice. The lights that I like most, tall ones. Because if you are short, don't come near Matanga. I don't like, please. So tall ladies, they were very good, well planned, well arranged. They were well arranged. They could welcome you. I saw them dotted every hotel where there are guests from other countries. They did give us a lot of entertainment. So if you are in the hotel, you could see IEBC officials leading President Kisano. I went to meet President Kisano in Kempiski Hotel. He called me. He was with the Assistant Secretary of State for Africa, that bad guy, Johnny Carson.
What delegation was he leading? Which observers?
SADC. SADC. I went to meet, then Chikwete came. So we were asking each other. We went to the corner, 4 of us. And there was an American lady with gray hair who wanted to come near us. Then Kisano said, Matanga, you see, the CIA lady doesn't want to leave us. She wants to listen to what we are talking about. So we went further to another corner of the breakfast room on the Kempiski. So I sat down and said, ask President Kisano, so far you are leaving tonight, but sir, what is your opinion on this election? He said, it is well decorated. But Matsanga, it looks like you know more what is under the surface. Then Chikwete says, oh, I have already made my report, so even if you tell us, I won't change the report. But I have heard the same sentiments from so many people. Then I asked Chikwete, why didn't you put it out? Because the people were speaking to you. Chikwete smiled. I don't know what games even the observers were playing. There was a Assistant Secretary of State said, oh, it is sad that President Mugabe died. I said, but you are the one who made Mugabe die faster. Because when you are the ambassador there, you use it to steal a lot of things and put sanctions. Remember that sanctions were put there because of you. Then we had a chat. As we are seated there, 2 ladies came, and they are from IEBC. Well dressed with badges, big badge kubwa. Also, your cars are ready, and the chairman says he's ready to meet you. Hala? I said, okay, for me, Your Excellencies, I gave them my verdict of the elections. I told them this election, computers have been hacked, so many things have happened, it won't come out the way we expected. He said, call us. They told me to call them. Yesterday I called Kikwete, and Kikwete said, are you a prophet? I said, I told you. I said, the voting will be very well, but there will be a problem. So, in the quantity of heat, they hit the target on PR. Miriam, the choir was very good, were songa, and I've seen, I don't want to speak for Javani Karanja, but there's something that Javani Karanja has suggested about the choir, and maybe he can tell us right now. Javani Karanja?
Surely, there has to be something else IEBC did right, no?
Where? Where?
The bit, like for instance, when I checked my details online, compared to last time, I got the details of my polling station. I knew exactly where to go. So I think that was a bit of a change, and it made it a bit more efficient for me as a voter. So I knew exactly which polling station to go to. And that was not the case last time. So they did try to improve on a few things. As far as the voting is concerned, of course, other challenges were there. Karanja, go ahead.
Thank you, Miriam. Just to agree on some extent on what you're saying, the issue of election during the day of election, I think that is where Fletcher Bukati failed a big time. But on the issue of voter registration, I think that one he tried, because he had a portal where you can go and look for your details, where you vote, and all that kind of process. On voter registration, he has really tried. But on the issue of the other responsibility of giving Kenyans credible election, I think that is where the hell broke loose, and he gave us a shambolic election that doesn't reflect the will of the people. On the issue of bombers, Miriam, a lot was happening. And what David Mastanga, doctor, is saying that the choir kept us busy, thinking that the presence of Holy Spirit was manifesting at the bombers of Kenya. But what was happening behind the curtains is that Wafula Chebukati was killing and suffocating our democracy. Therefore, what I suggested is that the choir, if the choir was part of Wafula Chebukati's scheme to keep us busy, listening and feeling the presence of Holy Spirit at Bomas, where Wafula Chebukati was doing his bad behaviors behind the scenes. That is why I said, if the choir was part of the process to battle this election, then they should also be investigated, because they kept us busy, and everybody, Miriam, even the people in the side of Azimio, they were so reluctant. They didn't even bother, because the presence of the Lord was moving around in bombers, and that is why they felt like the victory was theirs.
Karanja, why don't you say, Karanja, you just say, if the choir was not there, Satan was going to come, Gomorrah was coming here. That choir said, yes, Gomorrah and Sodom, is it Sodom and Gomorrah? They were, yes. We saved the medium. The choir saved the whole situation. Rungus were going to blow up that place. People were upset. But one of the things that I add on what you are saying, one thing that the IEBC scored is to allow Mrs. Shore not to shower for 3 days.
That is true. Not IBC. Dr. David, let me come in shortly.
No, it is the IEBC, because they tolerated Mrs. Shore, a woman. She didn't shower for 3 nights.
Dr. David, let me correct you. She's no longer Mrs. Sholay. She is no longer Mrs. Sholay. They actually divorced with force. So the main role.
No, but the name that we see on TV is Gladys Sholay. This woman, when I used to love her, when I used to like her, she used to shower. But I was shocked yesterday. I didn't know that Tanui from your tribe, some ladies can stay 3 nights and they are able to walk in public.
I think she was also trying to justify that she has worked out, of which it is not true. She was stealing. She was actually the one. She has been accused, Dr. David. Remember, she was even caught with a laptop. So she was very busy bringing other from 34As which are not original. So she didn't shower because she was working hard.
Can we say that is a success, a hit?
It's not a success. It is thievery.
Another thing that Lydia, a good success. I have liked the color, the description, the color of IEBC. The lady Cherera, Cherera replaced Akombe. I don't know, Wafula has a style of choosing media attractive ladies. Madame Cherera.
Parliament chose, I think Parliament chose them. Parliament.
No, but when you reach the commission, the commission sits down and say, you will handle media. And Akombe and Cherera was put to handle media, the vice chairman in charge of media and other operations, answering questions. She did a good thing, which we should give her a credit for. To say, don't say us, say you. We are not part and parcel of the results. Do you know why she's saying so? She's gonna save herself a prison. Because if you say you agree with these results, that's why Commissioner number 6 said, there are certain things I didn't know. I'm not going to agree. I also join as an interested party. In case my name is mentioned, I have to come up and defend myself. So that is a very great opportunity for the people of Kenya to see a beautiful lady who has come up to say, no, we don't know. Now, Miriam, in the name of God, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, from your notes on the what you have got, psychologically, in psychology, where does it lead you to? Before I do a takeaway.
Psychologically?
In psychology, yes.
That's deep. Yeah.
Try to say something. Where does it lead us to?
Well, as Azimio, they do have a case. If they did their research well and they presented proper, evidence, then they might be having a stronger case there at the Supreme Court.
Remember, Ruto's case, you are a recipient. You don't go into your details we don't need his details. The main case lies with IEBC. Ruto is a recipient. I have got my certificate. You can't take it away from me. That's what Ruto is coming today. Because I won here, I won there, I won there, I won there. So he's not going to represent to us. It is not going to be a big ceremony for us like the Raila ceremony. Unless they just want to come and show their stupid yellow colors. around the town that have been in Kampala for 37 years. You see, Miriam, there is one word I'm waiting from you. That is all right. They have a case, but there is something else. Anybody on the panel to try what you from all this, the faults, the failure, faults, hits, misses, and hits. What do you conclude?
Let me try, Dr. David. All this will lead us to constitutional crisis. It will drive this country to constitutional.
Stop there. Hold it. Wafula Chebukati wanted his money. He got it. Exactly what he said in the hotel lobby in November 2021 has come to pass. He's left us in a constitutional quagmire. You can't know who won, who lost, because the mathematics will never add. So you have hit the point. Thank you, a brilliant. If I were in Akura, I would give you a beer to add on to energize yourself. You have made a very brilliant position. Thank you very much. Miriam, as I speak to you, my dear sister, that is where we are. We are back to a constitutional rearrangement where we need, as the parliament is being sworn in today or told what to do in the parliament this afternoon, let's prepare for more extra time, because the conclusion from our analysis of the failure, faults, misses, and hits comes to one, a crisis. Thank you. Can I do a takeaway? Analyst. Time and time again in Africa, elections have been a trigger of conflicts. The people of Africa wake up very early in the morning at 5 a.m., 4 a.m., some at 3 a.m., as early as 3 a.m. to go and vote. When they vote, they return to their homes. One of the most outstanding obstacles, the challenge that faces Africa with elections, is the tallying, verification, collecting of figures, and declaration of results that at times in some African countries takes as far as 10 to 20 days without any official announcement of the results. What happens to these results when people take 7 days in the modern technology of ICT to produce results of only 290 constituencies, of which India produces in 2 days? India votes for 3 months, but produces the results in 2 days of the entire population of almost 2 billion people. What then can we learn, and what lessons can we learn from the failures, the faults, the misses, and the hits of the ICC debacle? The failures outweigh the faults. The faults outweigh the failures. Both the failure and the faults outweigh the misses. And the misses outweigh the faults and the failure. And the hits are dismal. In such a crisis, in such an environment where results are not mathematically constituted as per the verification, tallying, and collecting of all the materials that were involved, there is bound to be a trigger of crisis. Is Kenya therefore heading into a political constitutional crisis that could see Kenya not having commissioners, but having convicts in committee? How did they sleep on job? Another big question that I want to pose to Kenyans and to the teams of Orengo: can they ask for an audit of how many papers are in the warehouse? How many ballots entered Kenya? Can they ask Mr. Chebukati one question? Give Kenyans, show to Kenyans the cargo manifests of all the cargo that came into Kenya from the Greek company, from the airlines that carried the ballots. This cargo manifest, which is Wafula Chebukati has kept to himself alone, not even the airlines, they have been removed, is the source of knowing how many ballots were printed. We might have paid for 62 million ballots, but we might have printed more or less. And then it could constitute for an inquiry as to where the rest of the money or where it came from. If it is more, where did the money come from that printed the extra ballots? Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, watching this clip, Kenya faces a constitutional crisis. Should there be any charges leveled against which will come, not should there be, there are charges that Wafula is answering. The only good thing that came out of this election was the PR guru, the PR systems of public relations, of women walking around, women going to hotels to say, God's here, welcoming guests, dignitaries from abroad. That was well done. But the rest of the elections, underneath the electoral body headed by Chebukati, there was a system of criminal enterprise. Therefore, it is up to you, Kenyans, to seek redress from the courts as to why every year, every time, every 5 years, your election ends up in a crisis. Thank you very much, viewers and listeners, to this video. Thank you.